Welcome back, humor consumers, to the Life Happens, Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
And I'm Cathrine, co-host, bestie.
That's right. My co-host and my bestie. Lucky me.
Yeah.
All right. What's she
Lucky
just
me too.
took that one in right away. What episode number are we? 54?
54.
Look at that. 54 episodes of our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So if you're just tuning in, you've got 53 other episodes that you can consume. Well, if you are new to our show, let's give you a heads up. What Cathrine and I do every week is we do our best to bring you a topic, and we try to present it in an entertaining way. We scour the internet, the interwebs, for information, and then we bring it to you. Things that we think you care about. You know, we brainstorm and think. If you think of something that you care about, let us know. Maybe we'll do an episode on that. That would be good. But we do have a little editorial calendar that we're working from. And today, on the list is air fryers. We're talking about air fryers today.
Well, it is the craze.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And I got sucked in. And now I've sucked you in.
True.
Yes.
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk all about air fryers today. And after we bring our entertaining content, at the end of each broadcast, we also share some spiritual encouragement.
And one may be thinking, spiritual encouragement for air fryers?
Yep.
Believe it or not.
We have a scripture for that.
Yeah, it
So
is.
stay tuned.
It's appropriate.
Yeah. And our podcast is sponsored. Who are our sponsors, Cathrine?
Muffin and Pooh.
Who are they?
Ron and Kenny.
Our husbands.
That's right. Ron is Muffin. Kenny's Pooh.
Yeah. And they are 100% on board with us doing this podcast. And so they are our sponsors.
They are. And they'd let us call them those names.
They do. They don't really have a choice, but whatever. Okay, well, let's dive in. Here are the takeaways for our listeners. This is what you are going to get out of tuning in today to the Life Happens Laughing Anyway podcast. We're going to give you an overview of air frying, sort of like air frying 101 for the person who's curious, like what is it and how do I get into it and what do I do? So you're going to have just a baseline overview of what it is. And Cathrine has found a really good website that we're going to talk about, and we're going to link that in the show notes. So make sure you check that out. And if you'd like to receive the show notes weekly in your inbox, your email inbox, go to my website, tracydegraaf.com, and sign up for the emails. And the emails will come once a week, and it's just the show notes of the show. And if you scroll to the bottom, you can click on the player button and listen to the show. The other thing is going to be a takeaway is we're going to talk about these foods in the air fryer. Salmon, frozen foods, a grilled cheese to die for that we both sampled yesterday, which, by the way, last week's podcast, we talked about goal setting and how we both have a goal of losing 20 pounds by May 20th, 2022. 5222, right? 05022022.
Not 02. 20.
Oh, that's right. 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need those extra days.
Yes, that's why I'm like, no.
Anyway, so we go from let's lose 20 pounds to let's make grilled cheese in the air fryer and donuts.
It was a sample.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway. Oh, yeah. And so we're also going to talk about how to make donuts in the air fryer. So don't miss that. All right. Let's talk about the website. What say you, Cathrine?
Well, the name of the website, it's on CNET. I don't know what that is, but anyway. But the title is A Guide to Air Fryers. Everything you need to know before you buy.
Yeah.
And now there are several websites, as there usually is when there's a craze or big hot button topic. And so this one I thought was just
pretty
legit.
thorough.
Yeah, and thorough. I had another one that I really liked as well, and it had a bonus thing that you could click on when the air fryer was actually invented and who invented it, but I can't find that any longer.
Well, give them the repeat of that info, like you were telling me before we hit play on the broadcast, whatever. Tell them what you found out.
Well, it's this guy back in, he was an inventor in the 1930s, and he was obsessed with freezing foods. So he had a garden, and he figured out that freezing the food, fresh food and vegetables and so forth, was a good thing. But then there was the issue of how do you reheat it?
Mm-hmm.
And this is before microwaves. So he invented all kinds of things that when you read it, you're like, oh, wow, that's the source, that did that.
Yeah.
And so he invented this for airplanes, actually. This thing that was like convection air that would heat up the food. And it was good on airplanes, actually, because it was compact and you could fit several plates in it. And that's how it was invented initially.
Isn't that funny that now on airplanes, they just throw you a bag of pretzels and call it a day? You don't get what you used to get.
Right.
Unless you're in fancy.
Especially after the pandemic.
Oh,
it's even less.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Another thing I find interesting about what you just shared is that the air fryer was actually kind of all in concept way before microwaves. Mm-hmm. So the curiosity in me goes, how come microwaves have gotten all the attention and not air fryers?
I think because it was able to be in the home on your counter, or whatever the case might be. And also air fryers. The other thing is that the air fryer is actually a convection oven, which was, I think, the late 90s and 2000s. And we had one in our previous home.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I didn't realize what that actually was or
Right.
meant until now when I'm
Right.
doing all this research. And so the air fryer is a condensed version of that. And so since there's not as much space as an oven, the hot air blows more intensely and in a smaller space so that the heat isn't lost, and therefore you've got more, it can so-called fry your food, which is not really fried, but it is exactly like that without the oil and saturated fat.
Well, okay, so there brings up another thing is that it's called an air fryer, but it's not fried.
Correct.
I think that infuriates me. Why didn't they call it something different? Why call it an air fryer?
Would you buy it if it was called air bake?
I don't know.
No. Well,
probably
you
not.
wouldn't be attracted to it.
Yeah, and they probably did test because, all of these products are tested on the market.
Right. Okay, so that reminds me. When I first heard or saw anything to do with an air fryer, it was not on a commercial, not on anything like that. I saw somebody that I know, he posted that he received an air fryer, and he said, best thing ever. And I was like, huh.
Yeah.
And it piqued my interest,
yeah,
but not enough to really look into it. But my point is that was the first time, and I think that was a couple seasons ago, a couple Christmases ago.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. But the fact that it said fryer is what caught my attention.
Yeah.
And he said it tastes just like fried food. And I thought, oh.
Without deep frying.
Exactly.
So even the look of an air fryer, if you just look it up, to me, it does kind of look like, oh, you fill that thing with oil and it fries the food in oil, but that's not the case. There's no oil necessarily involved. You can coat the basket of the air fryer with like avocado oil or a different one.
Canola?
Well, okay, so
avocado?
here's something that I learned, and I don't know if this is true or not. So I guess people would have to look it up. But what I read about air fryers is that you should not use like the general PAM, cooking spray. Mm-hmm. There are ingredients in there that can build up over time on the basket, and it's not good. So you're better off purchasing a little spritzer thing that you can fill with your own oil, like olive oil or avocado oil. Mm-hmm. Or you can buy in a little spritzer can, which I was able to buy from Aldi, some avocado oil. And that's where I bought my air fryer, was from Aldi. It was $50. It's like on the low end. Mm-hmm. And I just wanted to try it. And, I shop at Aldi every single week. Mm-hmm. I do Instacart. That's the one thing that has come out of this pandemic that I have loved is Instacart. And my discovery of it, I know it was around before the pandemic, but I started using it during the pandemic, and now I'm hooked.
Well, you can also thank the pandemic for the popularization of the air fryers, because according to one of the things I read was that during this time of restaurants being shut down, people wanted that taste of restaurant food and that fried taste. And so people were buying more and more air fryers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's an Aldi website. I think it's just like aldi.us or something like that. But it gives you all of the special stuff that's in that one aisle of Aldi where it's all, there's no food. It's all like stuff.
It's their special item for the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you go to this website, it tells you all the special stuff that is supposed to be in the store. And sometimes it's there and sometimes it's not. Mm-hmm. Well, I saw an air fryer in there because I check that website before I place my weekly grocery order. Mm-hmm. Just out of curiosity, I wonder what's in there.
Well, it's the same thing as when you're physically shopping, you want to go down that specialty aisle.
Right.
What they have there. Yeah.
And when I saw the air fryer for $50, I thought, you know what? I'm just going to give it a try. Because what's the risk? $50 isn't, going to break the bank. And what if it's awesome? So I bought it. And then I opened it up, and the instruction manual that came with it, the type size was like 4-point type. And I'm like, well, who's buying the air fryer that can read this?
Yeah.
I took a picture of it, and then I did the little thing with your fingers where you try to make it bigger. Anyway, it was a disaster, but you can get the instruction manual online. I found that, and then you can make it whatever size you want. But even then, the instructions were vague, and I was frustrated.
It's like Apple.
Yeah. I'm like, this stinks. You're supposed to know how this works before you know how it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I just started Googling air fryer recipes. And I found some, and I've just figured it out. So it was great after that.
Well, that's good. The author of this article basically says you don't really need all of the, gadgets and extra digital things.
Right.
That you just figure it out as you go. I mean, there are instructions, of course, but you don't really need them, he says.
Well, and one of the things that you told me before that made me feel really good about my Aldi purchase for $50 is that, okay, so my air fryer, that's all it does. It air fries. I mean, you can
reheat.
You can't, you can reheat in it, and it is this little convection oven, and I guess you can bake in it too some way, somehow. But it's not one of those all-in-one big unit, it's got all the bells and whistles. It's simple. It's just one unit, it's an air fryer, and it has basically time, temperature, on, off. Yeah. That's basically it. And you had said that according to this article, some of those bigger units that are more complex, they're more likely to break down. You don't need all that, and they're kind of expensive.
Right. The digital screens that they have that could break down. And this guy says you basically bypass that anyway. So the presets that are on there, he says that you don't really need them. It's trial and error anyway. And also, the bigger the air fryer is, then it doesn't have that intense cooking that the smaller ones have.
Yeah.
And he also says the bigger it is, like at a convection oven, it can lose heat. So you're gonna it'll take more time too.
That makes total sense, because at first I was like, oh, mine's so tiny, because now it's just Ron and I. It's the empty nest. I love it. So it's perfect.
Yeah.
It's actually perfect. But one caution for everybody, I still got my boo-boo.
On her wrist, she has a burn mark.
Yeah.
Because she reached over the rim of the hot part.
Yeah. But so the hot part of the air fryer is all contained inside of the plastic when it's closed. So, but when you open it, and if you've had your air fryer on 400 degrees, it's just like a 400-degree oven.
Yeah.
It's hot. So if you touch it, your skin's going to look like this.
Yeah.
Which
big
is,
red mark.
Yeah. It's healing now, but it hurt.
I'm sure it did.
It hurt.
Yeah.
I hate burns.
Well, yeah, because they hurt.
They hurt for a long time.
They do. Yeah.
It takes a while.
And then they can reopen if it's in, a vulnerable spot.
So please be careful with your air fryer in terms of burning. And then also, if you have to flip something, like let's say a grilled cheese, which we're going to talk about. If you have to flip it, don't use a metal flipper. Use one of the plastic or silicone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of the coating. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. whatever, what's it called? Non-stick. It's got a non-stick coating on there. So if you use metal objects, you could scratch it. So make sure you use plastic. And I did notice, remember how yesterday I was telling you about that Pam thing?
Yeah.
And I said, I was using my cooking spray, which isn't Pam, but it's the Aldi brand.
Saw that. Yeah.
I had been using it before I actually got to that part of the directions that I could actually understand and read. And then I'm like, uh-oh, I better stop doing that. But I told you that I didn't find that the buildup was really there yet. Well, when I washed my air fryer this morning, I could feel with my hand that there was some buildup.
Oh.
So all I did was I took liquid dishwashing soap and coated it pretty heavily, like I used way more than what you would normally use to let it like dissolve the whatever was stuck on there. So I got it off, but maybe keep up on that if you want your air fryer to keep working for a long time. Yeah. Which you do.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. I would imagine that the cooking sprays have some kind of aerosol element in it, and that probably is what it is, because a spritzer
doesn't. Yeah. And you don't want to gunk up the inside of your air fryer.
Right.
And then I don't think you want to ingest all that stuff either. It's probably not the best thing. Like if it's gunked up on your air fryer, then it's on your salmon.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to talk about from the website? And then we're going to talk about grilled cheese. I
do want to talk about this website a little bit more, because it does answer all those questions that somebody who's just curious, like what's the buzz about, and it'll help you with your decision. My big thing is counter space. It's like real estate in a kitchen.
So true.
Yeah. So that was my dilemma. But after reading this article and experimenting, with the food yesterday, I'm like, oh yeah. In fact, every single thing that I read on this, people had basically the same kind of issue, like, oh, another appliance. My sister-in-law, we talked about it before Christmas, and when she received it for Christmas, she was like, oh no. And she has a ton of kitchen space. Yeah. But it is they say that the food is so good, the fried chicken, and anyway, so it seems like a really good investment. And I have this on my counter. I have a corner that is where I have a lantern, a decorative lantern, and I love it, but it's just decor, and the kitchen is, a kitchen. Right. So I probably will put the air fryer there when I get one.
Over Christmas, which we just celebrated, my niece was here with my great nephew, my niece Mackenzie, and my great nephew Hudson, who is 2 years old. Wow. And she brought with her his favorite chicken nuggets that he likes to eat. And she saw my air fryer on the counter, and she said, is it okay if I use your air fryer to heat these up? And I was like, you know how to use that? She's like, oh, yeah. Of course. And I hadn't tried chicken nuggets. I mean, Ron and I are not chicken nugget eaters, you know what I mean? But it's obviously something that the kids do. Anyway, real quick, she put it in there, and she just like intuitively knew how to use it. She didn't need to look at the manual. She just...
Does she have one?
She has an air fryer. It's not the same as mine, I don't think, but she just figured it out. I'm like, boy, look at that.
Well, that's another thing, is that most of them are very easy to use.
They are.
So these are the pluses. Yeah. You can load it, very easy to clean. You can load it, most of them, in a dishwasher.
Yes. And top rack, I think, but yes.
Yeah. And what else did I say? Oh, did I already say that they're come in different sizes? Anyway.
Well, and I did not know what you and I had talked about earlier too, that you can really fill it up.
Yeah.
I thought you had to keep things on one layer, and maybe you do for certain things, but you can fill it up. There is a little sign in there that says max.
Okay.
So don't go above that.
Yeah. Yeah, because the air, it's just forced air, and it has little holes in the basket. Yeah. And therefore, it's supposed to cook everything evenly.
Yeah. Yeah. And it does. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. What else are they wanting to know?
Let's see. Do you need to use oil? And it says no, but every now and then, maybe just a little bit of a coating, like you mentioned earlier. Right. But it's not needed. And most foods, like chicken or salmon that has natural oil in it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't need oil for those either.
When I did the salmon in the air fryer, it was the best salmon I've had. I just put a tiny bit of olive oil on the fish and just a tiny bit of salt and pepper.
Okay.
Just to season it.
Yeah.
And cooked it in the air fryer. I Googled it, salmon in the air fryer, and followed the guideline on the temperature and time. Delicious. And a little crispy on the top, almost like you had put it in the broiler.
Yeah.
But super moist inside.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works, that it keeps it all from drying out, but it does.
I don't know either. I know that it's been compared to like an Instapot or pressure cooker.
Oh.
But the wonderful thing is that so the intense heat will do that. It'll make it crispy on the outside, and but it's not. I don't know the science behind it.
Well,
but
who cares how it works?
Right, exactly.
We just care that it works.
Yeah.
Delicious. If you're a salmon lover, you have to get an air fryer and try it. Although I did do, I did tuna steaks in the air fryer and I didn't like it.
Oh, that's right. You said that.
Well, I think I let them cook too long because they were tough.
Oh, that's probably it.
Yeah. I just got distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Did you already talk about the size per person?
I don't think I did, but it suggests that about a quart per person is what you need. So if you have 2 people, it's probably best you get a 2 to 3 quart air fryer. And then it says adding a quart of capacity for every person that you're regularly cooking for is how you want to plan which one to purchase. So that's what they are basing it on. And again, so there's also those toaster oven kind. Well, it looks like a toaster oven,
right,
but it is an air fryer. That's good if you're cooking for a lot of people regularly.
Yeah.
But you will lose a little bit of that intense heat that does it quickly.
Yeah, I've seen those, and I've seen like you can put a whole pizza in some of them and cook it.
Yeah.
Now, you wouldn't be able to fit a pizza in mine unless it was like a personal size.
Yeah. They have some air fryers, too, that have the 2 compartments, so you can do one food on one side and one food on the other. I thought that was a really good one as well.
Nice.
But this website that we're going to put in the link is going to have a lot of information. It has links to click on the different types of air fryers and the ones that they've tested, the best solo fryers for 2022 or 2022, and just about everything you need.
Yeah. I will say, like, I've started to look at different reviews. You know how you look at the reviews on Amazon and stuff. And there are always those naysayers that are like, it didn't work. They give a 1-star review. Like, my food burned. I was watching a football game and I got distracted. Well, you idiot. I'm kidding.
I burned myself. Well,
yeah, wear an oven mitt, Tracy. And I would just say this in terms of reviews, look at them all. But you know, if you're just wanting to dabble into air frying, do what I did and get a cheap one. You can get them from as low as $30.
Actually, $25.
There you go, $25, and just see if you even like that style of cooking.
Yeah.
And if you love it, you can always give it away to somebody or sell it or whatever, and then upgrade.
Yeah, you can even buy a refurbished, expensive one.
Yeah.
So there's lots of options out there. But yeah, they range from $25 to $400. And this author with this article said that you don't need the expensive one for the taste.
Right. Now I'm looking at the Ninja air fryer on the website. I want to get. Yeah, I think if I could do it over again, I would get that one.
That's the one I'm
you get
planning
that.
On getting.
You get that, and let's circle back, as they say, and kind of tell our friends what we think of it.
Yeah, that one has really the highest rating for overall needs and or overall testing, you know. So I definitely
Now, how much is that one?
Well, that's what I was telling you before we started. I
Yeah.
saw on Walmart it was 60 something, and then at Target it was 160 something.
Interesting.
So, but I noticed the one at Target has the roast feature.
Oh.
It looks exactly the same. It's 4-quart, but they had the roast feature, and the one at Walmart didn't. At least not on the two that I clicked on.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, I see that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that looks like a pretty good deal
Mm-hmm.
for $69 at Walmart.
Well, and I kind of figured when I get one, I'm going to get the roast feature. Why wouldn't I?
That's true. Why not? Throw a pot roast in there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, roast. You can roast something. Can you roast like a turkey breast? On pot
yeah,
roast?
I'm thinking, like a chicken.
Okay, the other thing here's a benefit of an air fryer as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you are cooking in the summer, and let's say, for example, that you don't like to have the air conditioning on, or maybe you don't have an air conditioner, or you don't want to run it a bunch, this little appliance will not heat up the whole kitchen.
That's exactly, somebody pointed that out as well in one of the articles that I was reading.
Yeah, because this Ninja one that I'm looking at online, it's the 4-quart for $69 at Walmart.
Tracy's shopping
Sorry.
during the podcast.
Sorry. But it's about the size of a large coffee pot.
Yeah.
It's not huge.
Yeah.
It's not super huge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is giving me air fryer envy. I want this one now. But I'm happy with the one I have, and I'm just going to use it, and maybe I'll upgrade to this one next year or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Maybe ask for it for Mother's Day.
Ooh, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What else?
Oh, that's basically it.
Okay. Well, we will definitely link that to the show notes, like we said. All right. Now let's talk about grilled cheese.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
All right. So yesterday, Catherine and I did a bunch of experimenting with my air fryer, and we made grilled cheese. And you tell them, Kat. Tell them what it was like.
It was crispy on the outside, and the cheese was done to perfection, completely melted. And it was, both sides were crispy. You did have to turn it over.
Right, midway through.
But that's not a big deal. You got to do some things in the kitchen.
Right.
But it was like restaurant quality. That's the thing with the air fryers, is that the food comes out like restaurant quality. So
yeah. Now I have to share from my mistakes, because I tried making a grilled cheese like a week ago when Ron and I were just experimenting with the air fryer, and it was a total flop. And here's why. First of all, I didn't flip it. You have to flip it. And this, I'm going to link to the show notes the recipe that I used for this grilled cheese. That was a success. You have to use a sturdier bread.
Yeah.
Like you can't use like your butternut white bread.
Yeah.
That's all like airy and there's no density.
Yeah.
Because then it just gets like mushy in there. So I used a good sourdough bread. And then I just buttered one side of the bread, and because the sourdough bread is bigger.
Yeah.
So I just used one slice, cut it in half, butter it, put cheese in the middle so there's butter on both sides, and then you put it in the air fryer, and I think it was like 380. It was like a weird number, like 375 to 380 or something like that. I think my air fryer doesn't go up in increments of 5 degrees. I haven't figured out how to do that yet.
Oh, okay.
It looks like the Ninja one does. That's another issue. Anyway, it doesn't have to be exact science. So we put it at 380 for 4 minutes per side, and it was perfection.
Without all the mess.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you do have to clean the unit. You clean the basket. You're done. You don't want to leave all that.
But it's easy to clean.
Easy to clean. Yeah. So that was great. What else?
Well, and the cheese that you used. So you used, was it slices?
Yeah, I used sliced cheese, also from Aldi.
Okay.
And I used Swiss and Colby Jack.
Right. So you didn't even have to use like Velveeta, which melts faster.
No.
And it was a success.
It was delightful. Now Ron made one today when he got home from work with Velveeta, because that's his thing.
That's what he likes. Right.
And it was good. The other thing I thought of with grilled cheese in the air fryer, wouldn't it be wonderful to make your grilled cheese and then cut it like into crouton size?
Oh, yeah, you did
and
say
then
that.
put it in your tomato soup you know, and it'd be so because it's extra crispy, so it can absorb the soup.
Yeah, it was literally crunchy.
Yeah.
You bit into it.
It was delightful. I hope your mouth is watering. And you're going to go buy yourself an air fryer. We get nothing out of this. We should have an air fryer company that says, hey,
we want to sponsor you.
Yes. Yeah, come on now. Okay, tell them about the shrimp.
Oh my goodness. The shrimp that we got also from Aldi.
Yay.
And it was pre-breaded.
It was
right?
frozen. It
Frozen,
was
right.
frozen shrimp that was pre-breaded, pre-cooked.
Okay.
It was
Right.
coconut.
Yeah.
Coconut shrimp.
That was like restaurant quality. That was divine. I don't know how long you had it in the air fryer. It wasn't that long, though.
No.
I mean, it can't be because it was already cooked and you don't want to overcook it. So,
Right. It wasn't that long. Again, just Google it,
oh
how
my
to do it.
gosh. And it came with that marmalade sauce.
Orange marmalade.
Oh, my goodness. That citrusy marmalade. And we dipped that into it and into the sauce, and it was divine. I mean, it was definitely restaurant quality. Very crispy on the outside, and the shrimp, the meat on the inside. Delicious. Yeah.
And it was like a 9-ounce package for $4 from Aldi. And I would say that it was enough. Like I split it into 3 servings so that you and I and Ron could all have a taste of it. But I would say it's probably a 2-serving size container that they sell.
Right.
But if you want to impress, you know, guests or whatever, get yourself some coconut fried shrimp from the frozen freezer section of your grocery store and do it in your air fryer.
But wait, there's more. Because from what I read, you can also like just get the shrimp raw and you can put the breading on and cook it that way. You don't have to buy it, you know,
True that, but why? Why would you mess with?
Well, because some people like to say I made this, or they'd like to put.
I'll say I made it. Just hide the box. Hide the box. Shove it down.
Yeah.
Okay. Any way you want to do it, just get familiar with your air fryer and experiment. That's part of kitchen success. Is really not being fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless in the kitchen. Just experiment.
Well, one thing I'm looking forward to, by the way, is the fried chicken, because I will not eat fried chicken because of the saturated fat and the oil in it. I'm just afraid to eat it. But in an air fryer, I will eat that skin and get that.
Well, we'll have to try that then. Get yourself your air fryer and try it and let us know. What else did we make yesterday in the air fryer? Oh, we made the donuts.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was just, about that.
Now, these donuts, Ron and I were exposed to the donuts in the air fryer when we went up to Wisconsin to visit our friends, Pat and Martha.
Oh.
So they had an air
that's
fryer,
right.
and we had spent a couple nights with them up there, had a blast, and they made us air fryer donuts in the morning. So easy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, tell them how you do
Okay,
it.
so you just take any kind of refrigerated biscuit dough, which I got mine from Aldi, from the Instacart. You just click the button, give me the dough. And
Aldi should sponsor us.
I know they should, but okay, Aldi and Goodwill.
And Instacart.
And yes, we've got some sponsorships coming our way down the road. Anyway, all right, get yourself some refrigerated biscuit dough. And then cut a hole in the center like you would for a donut. And I used to cut the hole, I used the cap from a bottle of water to just push down in the middle because it looked like it was about the size of what a donut hole would look like. And then you remove the hole. And you can fry up the holes too, you know, and eat them.
Like munchkins.
So then you put in your air fryer one layer of the donut. You can't layer these on top of each other because they'll be too mushy.
Yeah.
So I think I was able to fit 3 or 4 of the biscuits in my air fryer.
And we don't know what size quart you have.
No.
So depending on the quart size.
Yeah. Just so they're not one on top of the other.
Yeah.
I don't think it would work. You could try it. If you do it and it works, let us know. But anyway, you just bake them in there for whatever minutes it says. And I forget now what it is. I should have had that, but whatever. You bake it. Then when you pull it out, you dip the donuts in butter.
Melted butter.
And then you roll them in cinnamon sugar. Oh, they are so good.
Yeah, they were very good.
Yeah. They don't taste like a biscuit. They taste like a donut because they get the hole. That's what it is.
They have the butter.
It's the butter, the sugar.
Yeah.
So if you're, interested in that, give that a try. Great recipe.
Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking too would probably be good in an air fryer is the little wieners, the little cocktail wieners.
Oh, yeah.
With a little bit of dough around them.
Yeah.
I'll bet that would work.
Yeah.
All right. Well, those are all the tips and tricks that I have up my sleeve along with my burn from my air fryer.
Which is also up your sleeve.
Yes. Is there anything else that we've left off? I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Well, we're beginners, so we're with you, friends, on this air frying journey. So please tell us. Maybe somebody's listening and they're like, girls, you just don't know what you're missing. You got to do blah, blah, blah in the air fryer. Let us know.
That would be great because we do read those.
We do. And we haven't heard from our audience in a while. So if you've been listening and not communicating with us, we want to hear from you. So tell us your favorite air fryer recipes and also give us any ideas of shows. Like we do have our map for 2022, but we're happy to change things and insert whatever you want to hear about.
For sure.
All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, let's go to the scripture, which is Matthew.
And call to action.
Yeah. Well, the call to action I just said, go get an air fryer.
Oh,
Are you paying attention to me
No,
at all?
I'm reading, actually.
Jeez. It's just me here today, friends. Catherine's out to lunch.
I'm reading through the website to see if I missed anything.
Okay. Well, okay. Anyway, I had said, get yourself an air fryer and experiment. Try it. What have you got to lose?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Now the scripture. Matthew chapter 4, verse 4 says this. Jesus answered, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God.
Like that one.
There you go. We love that verse.
Yeah.
And that's the words of Jesus himself. So they're red letters.
You can't beat that.
No, you can't
red
beat
letters.
it. You can't beat it. All right. Well, you've been listening to the Life Happens Laugh Anyway podcast. I'm still comedian Tracy DeGraaf.
I'm still Cathrine.
We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.